Alrighty, my good old friends of YouTube, let's break down Palantir stock, the charts, how it's been doing here post earnings, and do an update on how it's been doing really in the past week, as the week just wrapped up and we actually had a red day for Palantir on Friday, which really is not that big of a deal. I mean, obviously it's still up big time. It only went down 13 cents, 0.5%. But yeah, I want to do an update. So if y'all find value, hit the like button. Of course, make sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 50,000 subs this year. And don't forget to get up to 15 stocks from Moomoo, each up to $2,000. Guys, just use that link down below. Check out the details. We'll talk more about that later. And with that being said, cheers. Let's dive into it. So Palantir, which at this point everybody and their grandma knows is going crazy. The stock's been going nuts after earnings, and you all can see just for yourselves here on this 5-day 5-minute chart how much the stock has gone up the past couple of days. I mean, this stock back on just the 2nd of this month, a week ago. What's today? Friday when I'm making the video, right? Last Friday it was at $16.15. Now it's at $24 per share. Essentially, week over week, it is up around 50, or at one point it was up from the bottom $16.15 to the top from earlier today, or the peak as of now, $25. It was up 55%, which is just ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. So we're not going to get really into the earnings in this video because at this point, you guys know that I could mention them for those that want an update. They did, or a refresh, right? They did adjusted EPS for Q4 2023 of 8 cents, which came in line with the expectations, and they beat on sales, guys. 608 million versus 602 million expected, and their guidance was strong. And really, what caused the stock to go ballistic? Well, there's a lot of things, right? But the fact that Alex Karp, the CEO, is saying how unrelenting the demand is for AI, for Palantir, for the product. It's like, all these things at once, boom, caused the stock to take off. And it seems like here there's a lot of upgrades. Let me see some of these, actually. I haven't seen these for myself. Looks like Palantir regains momentum, yada, yada, yada. Jefferies upgrades Palantir Technologies to hold from underperform. Adjust price target to $22 from $13. Wow, look at that, guys. They upped their target by $9. Citigroup upgrades Palantir to neutral from sell. Adjust PT to $20 from $10. So it looks like a lot of the price targets are under where we are now, although I don't take their price targets to heart, right? I take them with a grain of salt. All you guys have to realize is a lot of these firms are still fairly bullish, right? We have Raymond James. They maintain outperform rating. It looks like they have one of the higher price targets here out of all these analysts. But yeah, a lot of these analysts, guys, they're up in their targets. They have buy ratings. Outperform ratings for a couple of them, which is quite interesting. Looks like here Wedbush, I believe Dan Ives, we talked about this, right, a couple of videos ago. Wedbush raises their price target on Palantir to $30 from $25 following the earnings. And really, the demand that this company is expecting right now is fantastic, right? And that's clearly being priced into the stock. And that raises the question, right? Is the future growth now fully priced in? Is it too overbought? What am I looking to do, right? So let me show you guys the charts here clearly. Again, on the 5-day, we saw how we uptrended for the entire week. We're up 55%, yada, yada, yada. We know that. And here on the 3-year chart, another thing worth mentioning, which you guys probably already know if you've been watching my channel, but we can see here we have a clear now we're well into this channel, but clearly now we're in this channel again where we were 3 years ago, right? About 3 years ago in 2021, we traded all within $20 to about $28, $29. Now we're at $24, guys. We're in here. We're doing the thing, right? We're looking pretty good. But in the very short term, it's pretty overbought. There's no doubt about it. So I could see Palantir, to be honest, maybe come down a little bit. I don't know about next week or the week after. I don't know. I'm not calling for a crash or a collapse or anything like that, but I could see it consolidate, come down a little bit, maybe towards 22.50. And I'm sure you guys might agree with that. Let me know in the comments, by the way. I'm curious where your heads are at. Maybe 20 bucks at the lowest, right? But I could definitely see it come down to 22, consolidate there a little bit before ultimately making its move back to 30 bucks. I think Dan Ives could be spot on. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but he thinks it's going to 30. I kind of see that too. I mean, he's probably, I don't know if he's looking at the charts, maybe not. I don't know, whatever. But 30 bucks was the peak, it looks like here, from about 3 years ago to the day, right? February of 2021. That's where we peaked out at 30 bucks. Also, looks like we peaked there in September of 2021, right? So, yeah, I think ultimately we could chop around in the low mid 20s a little bit, maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe a month for all we know. I don't know. We just got a huge move, guys, so we got to be patient and see how the stock reacts here in the next coming days. But ultimately, I think we could get that little pullback, a little bit of consolidation before ultimately making that move towards 30 bucks. Like I said, I think that could happen. And if we break 30 bucks, guys, which who knows if that happens in the short term, this year, next year, if it ever happens, for all we know, at that point, we could really start going to some other levels. I mean, look, Palantir back in November of 2020, which this November coming up, it's going to be the 4-year anniversary. Palantir was at 33 bucks, which, I mean, let's be honest, it was way too overhyped at that point. Think about how much the business has grown since 4 years ago, and the stock price is lower now. That is insane. So think about how overvalued, overhyped it was at this point. But now that we saw the crash, right, flushed all those buyers out, the hype wave kind of died down a lot. I mean, you guys know it died down a lot. Now we're seeing the resurgence. The fundamentals are getting a lot better. They're growing. Guidance is there. It's great. We could easily retake that $30 level, maybe even higher in my opinion. Maybe start going to where it was in November of 2020, where we were at 33, 34 bucks. Maybe we break out of there and start going ultimately over, this could take years. We're just mapping out levels, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but, after that level, we hit roughly 40 bucks, and it looks like February of 2021, early February, so 3 years ago pretty much, and we hit 45 bucks, which is the all-time high for the stock. You guys can see right here, we hit that at, when was that? In the beginning of, it looks like beginning of January of 2021, so just over 3 years ago, Palantir hit $45, and now we're still down 50%, 50% from that high. And think about, again, how much the business has changed fundamentally for the better. How much of a better business it is now with a lower stock price. And again, that goes to show how overvalued, overhyped it was back then. But those times were unprecedented times, guys. Different times. Every stock, it seems like, was in a bubble at that point. There's still stocks now that are in bubbles. Obviously, there's always bubbles out there. But man, 2021, 2020, those times were nuts. Those 2 years were different beasts. So yeah, what do you guys think? That's a quick breakdown here on Palantir, kind of my thoughts. And quicker video. We're going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. And do not forget to get your free stocks from Moomoo. I'm telling you guys, the clock's ticking. Use that link down below or go to StockSurfS.com/Moomoo. Once you open up your account and fund it with at least $100, you get 5 stocks. And fund it with at least $1,000, you get 10 more stocks, totaling 15 stocks, each up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Use that link down below. Get your stocks. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you guys later.